So that's, I had not seen it, but that does fit in the $90,000 allocation. So.
I would ask if council's had enough time to review these.
Yes.
I would make a motion that we approve the additional one-time allocation of $90,000 to be, or I mean of $88,013.36 for the parks equipment, field equipment, and include that in this year's
Expenditures.
I'll second that.
I have a motion on the table to approve this year's expenditure one time. Can you put that word in
That's
there?
what I did. One time.
One-time expenditure to the park for $88,013.36. Okay, any discussion?
I would like to ask the Parks Director to detail the tractor purchase and the Hustler. We're getting a trade-in on the Hustler as well, are we not? Is what I thought.
The trade-ins we're getting is only on the mowers. The tractor, the difference in the bid was $2,000, but we went with Kubota because they took so much off the mowers. We needed a new tractor. That was listed in the order of our needs. And the MDV that you see is the side-by-side, but it has a hydraulic lift in the back. That's one thing we were looking at purchasing, trying to figure out a way to purchase it in our budget, because it can haul up to 2,000 pounds, and our guys won't have to lift it when we're doing our projects and our ground material. That's what that was. But the mowers on the trade-in, Kubota had the best bid, so that's why we put that tractor on, and Jerry was able to test drive all the mowers.
So service will go to the same location then?
Yeah, we can use all this in any facility, but
But I mean, the service on that equipment, we'll take it just right back.
the Hustler, that's the only place that it would get worked on through Kawasaki. That's where they sell the Hustlers.
Okay.
Clay Maxey's business, but it's all local. So Kubota doesn't have that type of bucket MDV that has the hydraulic lift on it. That's why we had to go through them. And they dropped $5,000 off their lowest price to get us to take the bid on it. So that was a very good deal on that vehicle. It's a $20-something thousand vehicle, brand new.
Thank you, sir.
Any further discussion? There being no further discussion, all those in favor by aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same. Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. I would say the last thing we probably don't need Luke for is the Aerovac funding.
Okay, we have Zach with Aerovac here tonight, and does anybody have, actually, if you want to get into this, we've had the discussion. It's up to the council if they want to make that benefit to the employees of the city. The dollar figure is right at 7, Luke. Okay, hold on, I'm getting ahead of myself. We have 159 full-time employees. We have that long-term, part-time employee that's been around quite a while is 2. We have 8 part-paid or reserve fire department. And we have 7 part-paid or reserve police officers. But these actually, I'm not gonna say within those reserves, you know, they come and go. I will say that part of it. My thinking on this, and I've talked to Zach about it, that if it is offered as a benefit to the employees, that we go only with the full-time.
I think the reserves, and if we also included the reserves, if they terminated today and we hired a new one to replace them, then they would just be a replacement
Yes.
airbag. So
That's right.
I would
That's
like
right.
to
Okay.
include the part-time and the reserves.
That's your prerogative. I don't really, we're in a position we can actually do this. This is good for our employees, believe it or not.
And I think it would,
So
it will benefit the employees and it'll create a better atmosphere for them, I think, to know that we really do care about them.
Is that a motion?
Can I tag that onto your
Well,
motion?
you're wearing full council here, it's not.
Yes.
Yeah.
I make a motion that we accept Airbag's program and include all the,
Okay.
including the part-time, the 8 reserve firemen and the 7 reserve policemen.
Okay, motion's on the table, do I hear a second on that motion?
Second.
Okay, I have a second. Okay, now we'll open up for discussion.
Okay, so it's $7,000 roughly is what you were,
Well, now we've added 17 more people on that 59.
well,
It's 79.
It's how much is it?
Sorry, not with those 15, it was 79.50.
79.50, so we're at over
8,800.
8,800.
That's where you're at.
159 plus 17 times 50 is 8,800.
$8,800. Okay.
so let me clarify again, it's $8,800 if we take the 159 full-time and the 2 are part-time or? you said-
Part-time.
Part-time. And then 8 reserve firemen and 7 reserve police officers.
Yes.
So I'd like the input of the chiefs, if I could, in regard to this, as far as incentives. Do you think it's good to include the reserve officers? Is it worth that as a benefit?
Oh, yeah, anything like this would be a benefit, you know.
But I mean, for those reserve officers, is that this something that would cause you to get more, someone else interested, or are we just giving it to them because?
Our reserve firefighters, it's kind of a rotating overtime because some of them come down, it's kind of a trial period to see if they want to be a firefighter.
Okay.
So we might end up probably hiring 2 out of them before we have to replace them. Now, like you said, if these go and we replace 5, say we lose 5, would they?
Okay.
Yes.
Would you answer that question there?
So the way the census plan works, so if we say, let's just say 150, because I don't remember the exact number. So say it's 150, it's, whether it's a husband or wife that works for there, you're paying for the employee slot, whether part-time or full-time, whatever you guys choose. So if these reserves come and go as you please, you're still only paying for that 150 times the $50 for the year. So if that number goes up to 170, like you get so many more reserves, you're still paying that 150. And then if you drop below that 150 to say down to 140, you're still paying that 150. Come the next year, whether you go up or down, that's what you pay for the next year. So as people come and go, so if I was an employee of the city and I left the next day, my membership ends that day. So then the next person you hire takes my slot.
I was wondering about that because I didn't know if they left, if the next one come in.
Next one come in, takes that slot.
So,
That sounds good.
And that would apply to the policemen too.
Yeah, I believe it's a good benefit. In our reserves, they're required to come out and do a minimum of 8 hours a month, but we require so much training that is mandatory. They're doing quite a bit more coming in their volunteer time. We give them $40. That's it. I think giving them the opportunity if they have an illness and fly them somewhere, I think it's a great benefit to our employees and our community.
Okay, any further discussion? I have a motion on the table. Any further discussion? There being no further discussion, all those in favor of giving this benefit to our employees? Oh, sorry, I have to mention something in this. Within that 159 is 3 people you're not maybe aware of. And that's Mr. Pratt, myself, and Mr. Gomez, within that 159. I'm gonna put that on the table so you will know that.
So,
I think it would be necessary
Okay.
to keep those guys around.
well, I mean,
Well, maybe
Do
2
we
out
need
of
a
3,
motion?
or 3 out of 3.
But I just wanna make sure the public knows that also.
yes,
Actually, it won't be me, it'll be.
Well, I know, but
Hey,
he's already
it's
this
a-
year, comes and goes, gets a benefit. Okay.
Let me ask one more, just so I make sure I've got it in the minutes correctly. So we're gonna basically, it's basically just gonna be 176 slots, right? 176 employees for this year.
Yes.
right?
How do we track that? Like, how
But-
do I tell you who's covered and who's not? So every month, I'm assuming Tash will probably, we have a spreadsheet. So all we have to have is legal name. Nobody's nickname, legal name, birthday, phone number, address. And as every month, you'll update it. So if people leave, you just add people to the list. Doesn't matter if it gets bigger or smaller, that's the list, those are active people. The only flaw with the census plan is that we don't ask for anybody that lives in a household. So just like the hospital as well as the school, if someone gets flown that's an employee there, they may get a bill. All they have to do is go, we talk with Tash, verify that they're still an employee, and anybody that's in their household is still covered. That's the only flaw to it.
And such a benefit for the employees.
No, it is. It is.
Well, now, it's
Yeah.
it's my understanding that the 3 elected officials, by the state, they're full-time employees. So I would make a motion to add them to this.
Well,
Well,
It's currently in there now.
they're already
Yeah,
included.
but I just want to put that on the table, let you know that.
I wanted to make sure.
Yes.
After seeing and knowing how much it costs, just apply.
But anyway, any further discussion on this? There being no further discussion, all those in favor by aye? Aye. All opposed, same. Motion carried, thank you.
I'll add it to the budget and let me go first.
And only change your favor.
Appreciate it.
Take it out of that 50,000 will get saved on workers' comp.
I can do that.
Well, believe it or not, that saving does
It will get
go over
everywhere.
into benefits for employees or other uses. Okay, we've deviated from the budget, from the agenda, so I'm gonna try to get back on the agenda. And we'll go back up to department reports. So, Mr. Wood, if you have anything,
No one wants to ask a question.
okay, Mr. Phillips.
I do. Updates on a few things. I'm sure everybody's aware that the traffic signal at Byron, Maine is currently in flash mode. It took extensive damage as a result of that power outage over the weekend. We've not been able to track it down. We were supposed to have a technician in today to help us with it, but it's not something that we can get them to work on in the rain. So we're going to try again tomorrow. And I'll just have to keep everybody updated if this turns out to be something major where the actual controller got fried. It's an expensive item. So I'll just have to keep everybody updated. Hopefully you just drive through and the next day or two and it's back to normal and you know it wasn't too bad of a problem. We'll kind of go back in time on some of these signal projects that we've been working on through the city. Had a meeting with RDOT this morning to talk about a couple that kind of got started a few years ago. We had a pre-con meeting for the intersection of Main and Spruce to review the signals there. Ewing Signal Construction, they were awarded a contract last month to do that work. The contract date has completion set for July 5th of next year. The contractor is estimating that he will be on site to start work in late February of next year. And his hope is to be out sometime in April. It takes a long time from when these contracts are signed before they really get to work because the lead time on mast arms and poles is 4+ months. Sometimes pretty heavy emphasis on the plus. Those can really slow you down. The total project cost is a little over $209,300. Our share of that through this, this is a split cost between federal, state, and city. Our share is currently sitting at $41,876.46. Now that number can change through construction depending on any change orders that come up as they're doing the work, but that's where we're sitting right now. Second project that we had some discussions about this morning was the next traffic signal that's in line, and it's actually a much bigger project than just a traffic signal. Highway 4365, Rock Springs Road. They are currently scheduled to bid that out September of next year. They've got, all the survey work is done, I think their roadway design, their notes, staff notes out of Little Rock have that around 20-25% done. So they're moving forward finally on that one, which is good. Just to go ahead and put the information out there, in 2014, our share of the design and construction was $360,000. That's what it's estimated at. It's 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and so that cost is going to change. And the other caveat to that is the state and feds only help with design and construction. They do not help with utility relocations. They do not help with property acquisition. So, and I've kind of tried to keep the mayor updated on this over the years as we've moved forward with it. Expect those numbers to be in the $750,000 to $1 million range as far as when this is all said and done, because this is a large project at that intersection. That's a lot more than just the traffic signals. So that's one of those things that we've sort of been eyeing our budgets and knowing that that's coming in the future at some point. And we really won't know, maybe sometime middle of next year, we'll start getting a better idea of those utility locate and acquisition costs, but we just don't know right now until they get done with the actual design. And
Is there any plan to widen or increase the size of Rock Springs Road?
there will be, the early conceptual designs that I saw a few years ago did have some widening to allow improved stacking going back on Rock Springs.
So all the way to Forward Drive?
No,
Well, that's what I was asking.
no, not right. Not right now. They will do the widening enough to make it work with the new intersection design there. It will be on us in the future if we want to widen that further back towards Forward.
They're not 100%. They haven't finished all their study work.
I understand.
And they haven't come to us with that actually, well, their specs and all that. We don't have any of that stuff, so.
No, and it will probably be middle of next year.
Well, in spite of all the discussions of where the bypass would go and whether it would go through town or whatever, regardless of what happens, it would sure help at that intersection to have,
Oh, yeah.
even coming off 43 to have, essentially 4 lanes to handle traffic all the way back to Cottonwood on that side and all the way to Forward on the other side would.
Well, that discussion is, we actually had that discussion, but was not in the plans. We'll have to see if it's in the plans. But
Well, have them call me, I'll give them some input.
well, this is gonna be a multi-million-dollar project, believe it or not.
Oh, I'm sure.
Will it create a little time frame in there where it will be bad for movement or traffic? Yes, it will. But we have confidence in the state and in our public works department to reroute that traffic and help us on that part of it. But this is gonna be a major thing out there, and when it's done, we got other work to do.
Like I say, regardless of the discussion of the other road issues, that's probably the biggest issue in town at that, from 3 o'clock to right around in there.
It don't have to be 3 o'clock. I was coming through.
But I mean, at 3 o'clock,
Yes.
you can forget.
I was backed up almost to the light at Cottonwood and 43.
So, the good news is, we're starting to see a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel as far as getting this with the DOT and all the things that come with the federal money involved in it. I guess last update I have is our 7 South water line. State finally gave us all our last approvals on everything, so we're gonna start the final tie-overs on the last section, get everything cleaned up, and then kill the old AC line that's out there. It's been a little bit of a bear of a job, but we're finally gonna get out of there. So I just kinda wanna let you guys know that I would say within hopefully a couple weeks or so, we'll have everything cleaned up and ready to move off that job. as long as the weather cooperates and we don't run into any more issues. With that, if there's any questions about anything else, I'd be more than willing to answer. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Holmes, you have anything?
I think we're good.
Well, we all have, Mr. Cracker's already, he's out of here. He's doing a great coaching job. David, you anything you want to bring up? Chuck, you got anything you want to bring up?
I just got back from Little Rock about 4 o'clock today from the grant for the inclusive park. It went really well. Tiffany did a good job, the President of Rotary presenting, and we talked about the needs of the bathrooms and the handicap accessible and way making the ramp so all handicapped can get down to the park a lot easier. So I think it went really well compared to the other proposals that I saw. I think we got a really good shot. So pretty positive feeling when I left. So
When do you get an answer?
Jeremy said, Ragland, he's the one that wrote the grant for us. He said we probably will hear hopefully by the first of the year whether we got it or not. So, and we may not get the full amount, but we may get a lot. So we asked for 200,000 on a $400,000 project.
And we are still waiting to hear on a secondary grant that we applied for as well, so there's
So
a couple of chances to get pretty good money for this.
we all felt really good today, and like I said, we're one of the finalists. So I think I'm about 20. So we'll see. And you can ask for up to $250,000. So we'll see how it goes. But I felt really good about it today. So and thank you again for the equipment. I really appreciate that, and I know my workers do. So
Oh, I'm traveling on the mowers.
yeah, appreciate it.
Okay, thank y'all. Okay, we'll get down in committee reports now. Mr. Williams, you have anything?
Not tonight.
Mr. Magus, you got anything left on there?
No, sir.
Oh, you don't have anything else? Okay, thank you. Mr. Old?
Nothing.
Mr. Krager?
No, I'm just happy with the airbag thing.
Oh, okay. All right, Mr. Old, oh, excuse me. But, Wade, I guess you're gonna be up again.
All right, I guess at committee meetings, I gave you out probably more information than you wanted on some of these software platforms that we've been looking at for our operations. The Asset Essentials platform, which is the one that's the GIS integrated work order, fleet maintenance, facility maintenance, inventory, kind of handles all of our day-to-day operations. That price has actually gone down from what I gave you. First year cost is $29,319.20. And then the annual subscription going forward would be $11,819.20. We're members of the NJPA Sourcewell Collective Purchasing Agreement, and so those are some discounts that they had not included. So that's helped those numbers a little bit. The other portion of this has gone the wrong way a lot. That was the Community Development SmartGov portion. That was the GIS integrated tracking for building permits, any type of permitting really, and the nuisance cases, our clean premise. That cost, without the public portal that I talked about, is actually going to be for a first year $42,423 with an annual subscription of $13,680. If it does include the public portal, which is where people can submit their building permits online, their electrical permits online, pay their permits online, have their page where they can get on there, see the status of everything, schedule inspections, all of that. Same on the clean premise side, they can submit their complaints, see the status of their complaint. I don't have a firm price on that one because, partly because of the payment option, depends a little bit. But that's estimated at around $60,000 for the first year, with an annual subscription of approximately $20,000 per year. Now, unless you guys want to convince me otherwise, my plan is to pull that portion out of the budget for now.
Yeah.
And just go with the Asset Essentials, look at some other options for this other stuff, and then also let them stew on losing the business for several months, and maybe that price gets a lot better when and so we look at a phased approach at that. So the community development side, I'm gonna pull out, that's gonna knock some money, change things in the budget, but at least that will be going in the right direction. But I am still gonna include the asset essentials at those prices that I had given you. So anybody have any questions?
What drove the increase on the community development side?
We were dealing with estimates, and this company, all of their different modules have got different groups that work on them, and I was getting estimated prices for my asset